Brazil's ongoing debate over a proposed 30 billion real Brazil military modernization package has become one of the most consequential national security conversations in more than a decade. After years of constrained defense budgets and slow-moving procurement cycles, the possibility of a consolidated, multi-year investment plan is prompting a deeper question across the country. Is Brazil preparing to rebuild the most capable and technologically advanced military force in South America? The timing is not coincidental. Regional militaries are quietly rearming, geopolitical competition is intensifying, and Brazil itself is seeking to reassert its position as a rising mid-level power with credible defense capabilities. For viewers following Brazil's long-term trajectory, this is a pivotal moment in understanding whether the country will regain military leadership by 2035. If you want to follow these developments with structured, data-driven analysis, consider subscribing to support the channel. The regional landscape has shifted considerably since 2020. Argentina, after years of stagnation, is attempting to rebuild its air force with renewed proposals for F-A-50 or JF-17 fighters. Chile is upgrading its F-16 fleet and moving forward with a deliberate naval modernization. Colombia is evaluating a new fighter procurement that could reorient its strategic posture for the next 20 years. Even smaller states such as Ecuador and Peru continue to pursue incremental upgrades despite fiscal constraints. In that environment, Brazil's historic military advantage has narrowed. A decade ago, Brazilian platforms, industry depth and scale of operations placed it decisively ahead of its neighbors. Today, that margin is thinner, and the perception that Brazil risks losing its traditional lead has become a subtle but persistent concern among defense observers. The proposed investment package seeks to reverse that trajectory by offering predictable funding for air, naval, and land forces over several years. At the heart of the package is a three-pillar approach that aligns with Brazil's long-term strategic needs. The first pillar focuses on air power. The Gripen-E program, already a milestone in Brazil's aviation history, would expand with additional units, deeper weapons integration, and improved sustainment. The recent successful firing of the Meteor Beyond Visual Range missile has already demonstrated that Brazil is entering a new era of air combat capability. The package would also strengthen the KC-390 fleet, which is emerging as one of Brazil's most valuable assets for regional mobility, humanitarian operations, and international deployments. For the Air Force, the modernization package is not just about acquiring aircraft. It is about building an ecosystem where Embraer, local suppliers, and international partners contribute to a self-sustaining technology base. The second pillar is naval modernization, which is directly tied to Brazil's maritime geography and its ambition to safeguard the South Atlantic. The Tamandaré-class frigate program would gain more predictable funding, allowing Brazil to move from limited procurement to a sustainable production rhythm. Complementary investments would support indigenous missile programs such as MANSUP, strengthen the submarine force, and sustain the long-term development of the Álvaro Alberto nuclear submarine project. Although these initiatives extend over multiple decades, budget stability is essential. Without it, Brazil's Navy risks losing coherence in fleet design and delaying capabilities required to secure offshore resources, sea lines of communication, and the country's expanding exclusive economic zone. The third pillar concerns land forces, where Brazil has quietly developed several competitive systems but lacks consistent funding for fleet renewal. The Centauro II, which Brazil is evaluating for its armored reconnaissance needs, would provide a mobile, highly survivable platform suited to South American terrain and contingencies. The Astros 2020 system, one of the region's most credible long-range strike assets, requires ongoing investment to maintain and expand its capabilities. Additional resources would also allow Brazil to upgrade its air defense network, an area widely recognized as a critical vulnerability. While the country has invested heavily in radar and command and control systems, it still lacks a robust medium-range missile layer comparable to peer militaries. Beneath these three pillars lies a broader strategic driver: the strengthening of Brazil's defense industrial base. Embraer, Avibras, Ares, and numerous smaller firms stand to gain long-term development contracts that would preserve skilled labor, sustain innovation, and increase Brazil's autonomy from foreign suppliers. Unlike countries that rely primarily on imports, Brazil is one of the few in the Global South capable of designing, producing, and exporting sophisticated platforms. A multi-year, 30 billion real Brazil package would stabilize this ecosystem, enabling industry to transition from project-to-project survival to deliberate strategic planning. In this sense, the investment is not merely about hardware, it is about national capability. The political dimension is more complex. Some lawmakers argue that increasing defense spending amid domestic economic pressures is difficult to justify. Public sentiment is mixed, especially after years of debate about the military's role in national politics. A segment of citizens fears that empowering the armed forces without adequate civilian oversight could revive unwanted patterns of political involvement. Others counter that modernization is essential not only for national defense but also for high-value job creation and technological development. The credibility of the package therefore depends on transparency, parliamentary scrutiny, and clear separation between military professionalism and political authority. For Brazil, achieving both strong defense and strong democracy is not a contradiction. It is a national expectation. Public opinion reflects this duality. Many Brazilians express pride in seeing national platforms such as the KC-390 and the Mansup missile gain recognition. The Gripen-E program in particular has become a symbol of Brazilian innovation, partnership, and ambition. Yet there is also insistence that the military serve constitutional principles and remain fully subordinated to elected civilian leadership. The modernization package will succeed only if it satisfies both aspirations, strengthening national security while reinforcing democratic governance. Looking toward 2035, the implications are significant. If the investment is approved and implemented consistently, Brazil could re-emerge as the uncontested military leader in South America. Its Air Force would operate a mature Gripen-E fleet supported by advanced missiles and domestic sustainment capacity. Its Navy would field modern frigates, upgraded submarines, and a revitalized maritime strike complex. Its Army would integrate reconnaissance vehicles, precision fires, and modern command systems capable of deterring cross-border threats. Most importantly, its defense industry would be positioned as a regional powerhouse and a credible contributor to the global market. The proposed 30 billion real Brazil package is therefore more than a line-item budget request. It is a strategic statement about the country Brazil aspires to become: secure, technologically advanced, and capable of shaping regional stability rather than merely responding to it. Whether this vision becomes reality depends on political cohesion, industrial execution, and disciplined long-term planning. If these conditions hold, Brazil's ascent as a regional security provider and a rising global middle power is not only plausible, but increasingly likely. Thank you for watching. And if you wish to follow the next stages of Brazil's defense evolution, consider subscribing to support the channel's work.